Okay, so Penske and Gibbs, you said earlier, they've won every single race with the exception of Talladega. Are they kind of peaking way too early, or do we think that it's okay to not worry about, even though they just did win in Kansas, but still, teams are starting to become a little even right now.
I agree with that. We're starting to see it all kind of come together, and it's like we talked about, with the restarts. I think we're just seeing people teams start to figure out this new package, and we're seeing more strategy. We're seeing more strategy work, and I don't know that you can argue that they've peaked too soon, because it's like you said, a lot of drivers too. They feel pretty safe right now.
So I've seen it way too many times of people go through the summer slump. Jimmy Johnson, Chad Canales are probably the most famous people for starting the year out, win. Then you go through that summer slump, and then once we get to mid-August, they peak again. So I don't think you can write anyone off. I will say I am worried about both teams, though, because it's not just a couple of guys. I mean, Denny Hamlin hasn't run well, for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr., with the exception of Richmond and Dover, they've had things go wrong as well. We talked about Kyle's troubles. Eric Jones, he didn't start off all that hot, but he ends up getting the finish. I think the same thing can be said for Penske. I just think I don't know if it's a fall off, or I don't know if kind of the tide is rising for everybody else. I think Stewart-Haas Racing is figured out how to keep consistency up the entire year. We're talking about them being frustrated, but they've also finished in the top 5, top 10. They're there. Hendrick Motorsports, they're rocketing to the top. So I don't know. It's interesting to me. It's a weird part of the season right now.
Are you worried about two teams, though, that
Yes.
5 of their 7 drivers are already locked in the playoffs?
I mean, in terms of worried about if they're going to be fine come playoff time, no. I'm concerned about those teams and how they're going to perform over the summer.
Do you think that the summer slump you're talking about, you mentioned it earlier and you made a really good point with Kyle Busch and other drivers similar to him with the same mentality, kind of like to have that goal that they're working towards. Do you think that summer slump goes hand in hand with that, because the playoffs aren't quite here yet, but then coming into the fall, that's when it really gears up?
No, I think, we talked about this upstairs before we came down. It's the bonus points for the regular season championship, I think, in stage points as well. I think you're going to have to really key in on those over the summer. Obviously, you win a race, that's 5 bonus points. Mm-hmm. But let's not forget that the winner of the regular season, I believe, carries 15 bonus points over into the playoffs, and they reset each round. So if I'm calling the shots on any of those teams, that's my goal. I mean, that's a huge carrot to dangle out in front of somebody is those points that reset. So I don't know.
Those 2 teams have claimed victory lane every single race except one.
I'm just super hesitant. I mean, you see it almost every year.
If I'm putting money on the table right now, I'm Penske and Gibbs.
I'm with Alex.
Full fold of money.
No, I'm not.
Who are you, Hendrick now?
I'm Hendrick and
Wow,
Stewart-Haas.
Loyalty, man.
No, it's not loyalty, but I think if you look at how Hendrick has been trending, and I think if you look at the fact that Stewart-Haas hasn't won a race this year, and we're 12 races into the season.
How do you know that Hendrick hasn't peaked? They're just having a summer peak.
We don't know, but how do you know that Gibbs and Penske aren't going to hit rock bottom and not going to finish?
5 of 7 cars are
know.
locked in.
I just think when Stewart-Haas Racing hits, I think
I agree.
they're going to hit.